Tara, what an afternoon, and sorry I'm a few minutes late, but there was a dog to catch, and you know me, I'm not going to let it run. So I'm so glad to have what a handsome group I've got here. This is fantastic.
Really?
Chris and Gary and Paul and Jerry, and I don't know how to keep them all separate, but I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Let's start with you, sir.
Gary makes us look good because he's in the middle.
Yes, that's exactly
Radiates
right.
out.
He's a star.
Tell us, to tell the truth, tell us who you are and what you're doing here today.
My name is Jared Matthews. I'm not really sure what I'm doing. I got a great invite for some awesome people, so that's why I'm here. But no, I'm the owner of Lulu Food and Drink and Equus Jacks, and now Diamond Street Grub. So I guess that's why I'm here.
I love
here
that.
We are.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Welcome. Glad
Thank
you're here, Mr. Toole.
Yes, I am Paul Toole, and here with great friends, which is always exciting.
And the mystery woman behind you,
I
of
know.
course, is our own Caroline Knopf.
Take two.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
She needs a
Hey,
hashtag and everything.
She does. She's amazing. She is simply
is a
PR.
mystery.
She won a service award too, which I'm
Yes.
going to let Gary tell us about after you
Yes.
finish introducing yourself.
Right in the middle of my
That's
scintillating
right.
introduction.
You broke his introduction
Yes.
concentration.
Balanced chocolate whiskey. We'll drink to it later.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Excited to be here. Excited to be here.
Mr. Baseball, go ahead.
Yeah, that's me, Mr. Baseball.
Pitch runner only. They put him in when
He's
they
a
need
true athlete.
when they need a rabbit on the bases. Gary goes
You
right
got
in
it.
the game.
Who's on first?
Right.
My name is Gary Fox. I'm the president of APRON Inc. And we're doing a big tasting in a couple weeks, July 14th. And all these gentlemen are going to be participating in it. So I'm sure we'll talk more about that.
We will, and we'll mention too that APRON is a wonderful organization that really provides that little bit of a cushion, as you saw probably on my promo, between an absolute catastrophe and someone in the food service industry surviving that absolute catastrophe. So that's a great thing. Chris, welcome.
Thank you.
Please introduce yourself.
Chris Williams, owner at Four Pegs. Honored to be a part of the Taste of Independence and really looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it too, and you've got some great events going already. Four Pegs is really picking up some notice.
We just finished a Taste for Life, which was raising awareness for suicide prevention and mental illness, and we raised over $11,000.
Oh my God, that's fantastic. Yeah, let's give him a big round of applause. And that was pretty much because of Anthony Bourdain.
It was
that you
all
guys
about
did
Anthony
that.
Bourdain, and he raised a lot of awareness in our industry that people didn't understand that a lot of people behind that plate were struggling and they needed some help, and we really wanted to raise awareness for that, and we did a great job, and we're looking forward to moving on to the next, because I do have a personal story with APRON. Back probably 7-8 years ago, I got frostbite in my hands and I couldn't work.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I couldn't do anything, and you guys gave me money to pay my bills to make it through a month when I wasn't able to make any money, and I couldn't have survived without you.
Thank you.
And
Isn't that a great story?
I don't want to. I might cry. But
You can cry.
It's amazing. It's the first time I've met you personally, and it means everything.
Well,
You
it's
are
not me,
doing
it's
great
the
things.
organization.
No, but you all are doing
but-
great things.
But it's nice to hear. In the past 8 years, we've helped out over 200 people. We've given out almost $250,000 now.
Now think
Which is-
about that for a minute. That's
which is
pretty
just
incredible.
astounding
That's
to me.
pretty incredible.
It's amazing.
I
So,
love it. I love that. Thank you for saying that, and thank you for recognizing the work that they do, because you don't really get a chance to see the individuals who have benefited from APRON as much as we do the people talking about the individuals. So thank God we got to see you. Man, that's the greatest story ever. Tell us a little bit more about the new Diamonds Street Grub here at the Old Mellow Mushroom.
Yeah. So we just opened up this past Friday. We are bringing in all the delicacies from around the world. Street food everywhere from Thailand to Philadelphia, all chef driven. So like best Philly cheesesteak you've ever had in your life, the best drunken noodles you've ever had. So we're just trying to put a nice little spin on that. Craft bar, got 40 different beers on tap. So if you can't find one, I don't know what to tell you. That's why so we got that. We got a bunch of craft cocktails that I've just kind of made up, and they kind of have a little spin. They're all from over the world as well, and one is featuring Valentin chocolate whiskey, which is fantastic. It's a Thai tea. So
That'll
it's a Thai
be fun.
tea with chocolate Valentin whiskey, and it's fantastic. I had 1 or 7 on opening night.
Yeah.
I forgot which
Started
one.
out it was just something that he wanted to try as a taste experience, and then it tasted so good that he just
He had to make sure
he had to
Yeah.
be
it tasted that
absolutely
good.
certain. I love that.
Zero,
That's great.
zero fun behind
It's
it.
got
All
it's got sweet. It's got a little sweetened condensed milk in it.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, not that Valentin's not great on its own, but I mean, you can make a lot of hay with sweetened condensed milk.
Oh yeah,
Right? You
yeah,
can,
absolutely.
That's
yeah.
pretty
make a
cool.
lot of that. Yeah,
so
it's
do
a
you come
great
up with
cocktail.
all the ideas for the drinks?
No, I mean, Jared just, I mean, he said I think I did send a note. Like, I was thinking about a bubble tea as well, but tapioca is just a lot to deal with.
It's a lot,
right?
yeah.
Tapioca is a lot to deal with. So
Yeah.
I think you simplified it with the Thai tea, which is great. I mean, it's got that chai character. It's really good. Four Valentin Thai teas, please.
Yes, if he knows not to order me one, that's a good thing. I'll take a virgin. No, just kidding. So Gary Fox,
Yes, ma'am.
longtime friend of the community, longtime personal friend, for which I'm very grateful. Talk to me about APRON and how it came into being and why it has been such an integral part, as Chris just explained, of the restaurant community particularly.
It came into being about 9 years ago. A chef found himself, I think he got hurt or something. Anyway, he couldn't pay his hotel. He couldn't pay his hospital bills, and he couldn't pay his rent. And we had a fundraiser for him. And a bunch of us, the community people, got together and said, this shouldn't be. These chefs work so hard.
That's right.
But they're in a business where there's not a whole lot of
Structure
Yes,
where they would
yeah.
have benefits.
There's
and
not a
things
lot
like
of
that. They're
insurance. There's
independent
not
businesses.
benefits.
Right,
There's
right.
not, so we got together. We formed a little committee, and we said, well, this would be a good idea. How do we do this? And I immediately went to my boss at the time, Dean Corbett, and said,
Boy, that name
Dean-
pops up a lot, doesn't it?
it does. And I said, Dean, we're thinking about doing this. We're thinking about doing a little help for the community. What do you think? And he said, we've been trying to do that for years, but no one's ever wanted to take up the gauntlet. And he said, how can I help? And I said, we need to incorporate. It's $800. And he said, here you go. And he wrote out a check for $800.
Not
And that was
amazing.
our start. And we had a fundraiser that year. We raised a few $1,000s, and we're able to start helping people immediately. And over the years, it's just grown and grown and grown. We have great community support, wonderful corporate support. And like I said, we've given out about $250,000, which
That's
is really,
incredible.
really, it's a wonderful feeling to be able to do that. And it's just for independent restaurants. We don't do any corporate restaurants. I'm sorry, corporate people.
Well, I think they can take care of
but a lot
themselves
of them
pretty
have,
much, right?
have operations
Yeah.
that take care of their,
That's
their
right.
people
That's right.
inside. So, but if it's an independent restaurant or a bar, we're there for you.
I love it. Let's say hi to some of our friends who've tuned in. Lee Chotner is with us, Linda Hillenbrand, Sherry Vise, Mary Jane Saletti, thank you so much. Glad that you're here. Jerry Bloom, newsman extraordinaire from WHAS 84. Bill Veneman is watching. Thank you. Ellen Elizabeth Jones, glad that you guys are. I mean, isn't Bill wonderful? That man, I
he's
tell
the
you.
biggest supporter of the independent restaurant community, I'll tell
He's
you.
the biggest supporter.
We
Take
love-
it from Tara. What are you talking about? I love Bill. He's fantastic. So the thing that's nice about our community, and we all know this, is that when there's an issue, people pull together. You know, when there's a crisis, people pull together. We're fighting battles on so many levels right now in our
Exactly.
city that I feel personally like I need to carry a fire extinguisher constantly because it's just impossible to deal with all of them. But what you guys have done is you've very specifically narrowed your focus to one thing and one thing only, and that's helping people who are in one of the most one of the industries with the poorest benefits, if they exist at all,
Right.
of any possible career. And look at how many people in this city work in food service.
Right.
Do we even know how many people work in food service? It's got to be tens of thousands of people.
I've been trying to get the numbers, and I can't find the numbers.
10% of the workforce. Isn't that
that right?
incredible?
Wow. Yeah.
And what are we talking about? Pretty much base pay at this point. Does it change from restaurant to restaurant?
below poverty level. I would
Below
say.
poverty level. So no wonder
Sir-
they can't afford insurance.
I know servers make $2.13 an hour.
Yeah.
And then you got to get your tips.
And then tips. Servers usually do pretty well. They're lucky because they get the tips. Poor kitchen people. I think wages are going up a little bit in the kitchen because it's so hard to find good kitchen people.
Yeah.
But still, you're not going to. It's not a business to be wealthy in.
And,
get wealthy in.
hosts and hostesses,
Hostesses,
you
yeah.
know, who are not getting those tips.
Yeah.
And it's really scary because, you know, we are all, I always say this, we are all one paycheck away from homelessness. One catastrophic car accident, one major medical expense that
Exactly.
we haven't saved our money for. And it can happen to the best of us, and it does. And if you work with anybody in the homeless community, you'll know. You meet architects and attorneys and teachers, and a lot of those folks also are at this point in the restaurant employ, and that's what's scary.
Right.
Is that there are folks who are working, you know, for any of you guys who are then going and sleeping in their cars,
Right.
Or they go to a shelter at night because they can't afford to live in an
Sleep in the
apartment.
parking lot of the restaurant.
Sleep in the restaurant parking lot.
On the upside, though, on the glass is half full side.
Yes.
What I love to think about with the APRON Inc. organization and Gary and all these folks is, and this is my solve. But we take a lot of pride in the culinary scene, the bar and culinary scene in Louisville.
It's tremendous.
Bourbon tourism, and you know the new convention center. All of that doesn't work together if you don't have great places for people that come visit the city to go out and eat.
That's right.
And so for APRON Inc. and you know folks like you to be you know, providing something that makes the service industry, you know, more palatable, makes it a career worth pursuing,
That's
and people
right.
that want to be. I mean, you know, you sort of have to want to be. I mean, you talk about, you know, sometimes it's refuge for people who are in between or whatever, but there's a lot of people that really want to be in this restaurant business.
I know
they
a
have
lot of people who are
hospitality in their
professional
bones, man. I
restaurant
mean,
industry
yes, they just
employees.
they want
We
to be
sweat
here. I
bleed
mean, I do.
Yes.
Right.
We do.
I do. I
That's
love
who
the
we are.
restaurant business and the hospitality business, the service industry. So, you know, for this group and all of us, really, the support that the restaurant community be able to say, hey, come on in. You know, let's make a career out of this. This is just one element that helps folks make that
It
choice.
is, and I think I think you hit the nail on the head. You originally don't really get into this for the money. It's more the love of food and serving people.
Yep.
And then you try to figure out how to make ends meet. You know, you try to figure out how to get paid to do what you love. And I think the reality of it is a situation of something like Chris, where you're just trying to survive and you're working hard, and then something boom hits you, and then you realize,
you, Chris.
wow, I don't have insurance, or I don't have any way to pay my bills now that I'm hurt, and that makes a lot of people kind of stop doing what they love to do, switch. Here we go.
Exactly.
Now it's getting real.
Yeah. Now the
That's that
whiskey's
Valentine's
involved now.
tea.
Wow, look at this. All
Served
right.
by the singing wench,
Yeah.
Caroline Knapp.
Cheers. Yeah. So, yeah, I
And
just
that's
think
right.
so.
Thank you, Casey.
You see a lot of people. I know I've had a lot of
This is
friends
the
who have gone
virgin?
out of the
I love it.
restaurant
Virgin Thai tea,
business
Gary.
because
Virgin Thai tea.
of
Thank you.
situations like
It's the
that.
same
Yeah.
And then they're not doing what they love, and then they're working in a cubicle and they hate it. You know, so it just,
Absolutely.
it's
Right.
sad. It's sad to see that, but yeah, this is definitely an industry you do it because you love it.
You do it for the
I'm
love
just
of
trying
it.
to get
really,
rich.
Yeah, right.
A lot of times that, you know, all of us, like people like ourselves, we're in the background, and people in the kitchens, like people don't see those people. You're eating their food,
That's
but
right.
you don't see them, so they're faceless and nameless, and so they don't matter.
Yeah.
But they are also human beings that need help.
Yep.
And I think that organizations like yours can help those people that people don't realize they need.
It's very important for me to make sure to say, people think it's for waiters and waitresses, and it's not. It's not for servers. It's for everybody in the restaurant business, whether it's a food truck owner. You get a food truck,
I had
right?
food trucks,
Yeah. A food
A
truck
really
one,
good food
whether
truck.
I'm sorry.
A really good food truck.
Yeah, right. You know, whether it's a hostess, whether it's a janitor, and we're there for everybody in the restaurant business. So, I read an interesting statistic from a couple of years ago from the Kentucky Tourist Association that said 25% of the people that come to Louisville to visit come because of the food.
Yes.
It's the number one priority.
We've become a huge foodie
We've become
town.
a huge foodie town. It's been we've been highlighted in National Geographic
Yep.
and in Travel and Leisure,
Leisure, yeah.
and in major magazines. So
There you go.
Yeah,
There
exactly.
you
CNN,
go.
Ghost Nod recently.
that's right.
Yeah.
You know, but there's such small businesses that that they don't have the wherewithal to give the benefits like the big corporations do.
But we
So-
just can't, you know. I mean,
Yeah,
as
there's
business
no-
owners like Jared and
there's
myself,
no
it's like
way.
our bottom line is so tight that we're just lucky to be able to employ people.
Yep.
And you know,
right.
we would love to be able to give them benefits if we could, but we just can't. So
Right, it's
organizations like
impossible.
yours are able to help people
Huge.
get over the hump when they get into a bad place.
Exactly.
Let's talk about the fundraiser itself. And first, I think we should start with a toast to Dino.
Hey.
A
Oh,
toast
yeah.
to Dino.
Great
Absolutely.
idea.
To
Thank
the
you.
Godfather.
Starting it up and getting it going and
To the
spending that
Godfather.
$800
That's
to
right.
make a $250,000 dispensation of funds. That's pretty damn impressive.
That's what he
guys.
did all over the place.
That's
I'll
what he
tell you.
did. So,
So-
hey, Billy Reed, welcome. Glad you're here. Brian Sanders, glad you're here too. So tell us about the event.
The event, it is called Taste of Independence. It is on Sunday, the 14th of July from 1 to 4 at the Olmsted. It's a wonderful event. It's a great way to spend a Sunday afternoon. You come in, you listen to Robbie Bartlett sing her wonderful jazz.
Oh my gosh, it's
That's the
amazing.
best
You-
part right there.
You get a cocktail or two from one of the alcohol distributors.
Thai tea.
One of the
from
many-
Valentine's
Yeah,
You
yeah,
get a Thai tea.
Yeah, these might be
Might
the
be serving this, yeah.
I don't drink and I would get that.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking the same thing,
It's
babe.
really
We've got the
delicious.
slightly diluted color, but it
and
works.
I don't like tea.
I do drink it. It is very good.
But you can walk through our silent auction. We always have wonderful things, photos from Dan Dry, the Pulitzer Prize winning photographer. We have lots of bourbon packages, liquor packages. Anyway, everything
Spa
that you would-
packages, there's all kinds of great stuff.
exactly.
There's got to be a vacation in there somewhere.
Yeah.
I wish there was.
There's an
Oh,
award.
Maybe there will be
God,
now.
Gary.
And
Shout
Yeah.
out to any travel agency that would love to donate something to the silent auction.
That's it.
Please send me to Bali. That's all I want to do.
A little vacation to Bali, I know.
Now, while we're talking about this event, I think we should recreate the event that took place the other night because somebody sitting over there on the other side of the camera who just served us all beverages won an award, and I think we should acknowledge.
Oh, I want to order the APRON.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
years ago.
Yeah, but I mean, let's talk about that again, and then let's recreate that again for this event. And
Paul-
Paul has
Paul did
two
too.
award winners.
We give an award every year. Oddly enough, it's called the Dean Corbett Service Award.
Funny.
And the first person who won it was Dean Corbett. But it's for service to the restaurant industry in
Yes.
general.
Yes.
It's for someone who really shows up for restaurants, for independent restaurants, helps them out, promotes them. And Paul was one of our
That's
was
awesome.
last
Yeah.
year, 2
He
years ago.
does. Good
Last
job,
year.
Paul.
Well, Paul was last
Great.
year's recipient, and 2 years ago it was Caroline.
Yeah.
Because they're always here for
They
us.
are.
They're always here for us.
They absolutely
which is
are.
amazing. And we have somebody wonderful we're giving it to this year. I don't want to say who it is yet.
No.
How many independent restaurants are in existence in Louisville?
We figured that there's at least 900,
Oh my gosh, you
That-
just don't even
If you
imagine.
include the food trucks, you're probably close to 1,000.
probably.
Wow.
But that includes diners. That includes all the ethnic restaurants. It includes and
Everything.
and you know we've made outreach to as many as we've been able to. We've helped out. I think it's 125 restaurants we've helped people out from.
Wow.
So we keep trying to get the word out, doing things like this.
Yes,
Let your heart
absolutely.
talk.
Love to.
And we get more and more people from different restaurants all the time. We just gave one to somebody from Cuvion, which down in Germantown. It's
Yes.
a great restaurant, but they had not heard of us, and we were able to help them. So now we're on their map. But it's why we raise these funds. Is to help out these people.
Mari Eiserman, welcome from Oregon. Debbie Hossman is watching. Melody Stacy. Arthur Miller, hot day, hot show, Tara. Yes, we are. Very nice. Tell us a little bit more about Four Pegs because I know you're getting some press. We've noticed you being mentioned a lot. You had the event the other night. Tell us about your concept.
Four Pegs is a craft beer bar. We have 12 beers on tap. We have 40 plus bottles and cans, all craft beer. You're not going to get Miller Lite at our bar. I'm sorry, I apologize, but it's just not there. But you know, we're also supplying great food. We've changed the menu up a little bit. We're in the process with Khalil Kennedy of bringing out a new menu that's barbecue centric, but it's
Cool.
also like upper echelon barbecue. You're not just going to get your basic pulled pork sandwich. We're going to give you something a little bit more. It's going
Like
to
you
have
get at the
an
farm.
original coleslaw that we're going to put on top of it.
At
You
the
know, so we're going
farm.
to try to kick it up a little bit.
Yeah, that sounds really good. And location for Fort Pegs.
We're at 1053 Goss Avenue in Germantown there, just right down from Cuvion.
Yeah.
Right.
Which helps the people out, which is great.
Which is such a hot, growing place for living, as well as for all the infrastructure that supports the people who want to live there. So it's pretty cool. Tell me a little bit more about this, because honestly, as I drove by today, it was the first time I actually registered. The sign has changed because it's been sitting here,
Yeah,
for a while, and
it's been sitting vacant for a little over a month.
I hate that.
So we got it. Mellow guys, super good guys. They just had a little bit of a heartbreak. I mean, they did pretty well here. It was just some internal stuff that they had to get out. But I was actually looking at another location for Lulu, trying to look in Prospect and Middletown, and it seems like every time I do that, something lands in my lap in St. Matthews. I'm like, all right, I guess I'm going to do another.
Yeah.
Pretty much has all the
St.
great
Matthews.
restaurants in St. Matthews.
Absolutely.
Well, it makes popping around pretty easy.
Yes.
So instead, I'm going to get an underground tunnel.
Competition doesn't exist because he just is the best.
The San Francisco Underground you get from your restaurants.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, the street food concept is something I've had in my mind for a couple of years. I always thought it'd do good, wasn't sure where to do it. I always wanted to do craft beer, street food. I was thinking somewhere smaller because I wasn't sure how Louisville would take it. But when this opportunity came about with the garage doors and right on
Yeah.
St. Matthews, and
Love
it's kind
it.
of a walk up, so it kind of fits the whole street.
It really does.
feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
And it's gone over really well. Like, I mean, as soon as I remember, I'm going to announce it and just see what people will say. I remember my partner's like, street food? What do you mean, like carnival food? Like funnel cakes? I'm like, no. Yeah. And I was like, no, not carnival food, like street food. And I kind of showed them what it was, and they were super excited about it.
So talk to us about what street food is. What's on the menu?
Yeah, I mean, street food, we have drunken noodles. We have Thailand drunken noodles. We have currywurst, which is a Germany dish that you get on the streets. Canadian poutine, which is basically fries, cheese curd, and a gravy that we make. We have a curry bowl. We have elotes, which is street corn, which is ridiculously good. And none of our food has any calories in it. So,
That's always the best,
It's like
right?
celery.
Yeah.
It makes you healthier.
There you go.
So makes you strong.
Oh, water.
Chicken bulgogi, which I had Friday, which
Oh,
was
that's
I do have a
so
question
good.
though.
Yeah.
So we got all these great bars around here,
Yeah.
in St. Matthews area. Can you just put a walk-through window maybe right here?
It's funny you say that, because we once we get situated, once we get comfortable and figure out everything, we start experimenting. We've talked about that. On Friday night, even
That'd be killer.
setting up a little cart, maybe even outside, of something that we're doing special. Because we got a Wrigley dog on there, and it's a foot long
Look at
Wrigley dog.
that.
It's
It's almost like you do a little modified food truck.
Well, it's
like a
funny
half
because
a
my food truck
right
502
there.
Cafe got started across the street
Is
in the
that
corner
right?
of BBC's parking
Yeah.
lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I'm I want you to do this because I
Right.
think it's amazing.
Yeah.
This neighborhood wants it.
It's a good idea. I mean, people when we were doing it at first, they were like, "So you're gonna have a bunch of food trucks inside the building?" They didn't get it. No, it's all gonna be coming from one kitchen. It's just a bunch of
You're going
different
to be
stuff.
open until 3 o'clock, right?
Yeah, we're gonna be
Oh,
open.
man.
So
Wow.
Sunday through Thursday, we're open until 2 a.m. and then Friday and Saturday we're open till 4 a.m.
It's so great
That's
having
awesome.
somewhere when you're out late, because I stay out so late.
Yeah.
You're a real night out. I believe him.
Hey Gary,
I
I
believe
think it's time for the early bird special.
Yeah.
So let me just say, first of all, you got to get some really big kudos for originality on the menu.
Thank you.
First Street
Yeah.
for the
Love
appetizers.
the way that.
You like that?
Oh.
Street Light for the next level. Main Street for all of the big things.
Yeah.
Side streets.
Yeah.
Side.
And
very clever.
end of the road. That's
Yeah.
pretty
Very
doggone
clever.
cute.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, and
Diamond Street Grub and Hops.
Yeah, the end of the road right there, which is obviously the desserts.
Churros
We
with
are-
chocolate and caramel.
Yeah,
Oh.
we just
Well,
got
that
the
sounds
donut machine
like fair.
today, so we're gonna be doing the Baker Boy donut
Oh,
sign out
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
we're gonna do a play off that. So it's gonna be
Oh, that's great.
Baker Boy bag of donuts. So
That's
we're gonna
amazing.
Do, we're gonna do fresh
Hilarious.
mini donuts. Like
That's
in a
cool.
bag
And powdered sugar pastry dough,
with ballots and
chocolate
whiskey.
dipping sauce. Well, with ballots and chocolate whiskey,
man,
that's
seriously.
pretty cool. This is
I know.
amazing.
I drink more.
Chicken curry bowl, Cuban sandwich, pepperoni flatbread. See, these are all things that I really like to eat.
Yeah.
Certified Angus beef, and I'm surprised actually that these prices are what they are.
know, I thought so too.
That's
kinda-
super reasonable.
I
This is the
thought it
first
would
time
be
I've seen the
more.
menu. It's
Yeah.
very reasonable. It's
Maybe
amazing.
you're not supposed to see this. Aren't you the competition?
No, I'm not the competition. That's the thing
Cross
about that's the thing about the food industry here in Louisville. We are not competing. We are a family.
Yeah.
and
I
that
love
needs to be
it.
highlighted. But
Most
I'm gonna
main
come here and eat
streets
that. I
10
want that.
10, 12, and $15. 15 is the highest.
Yeah, with the
That's
highest one is actually, I think it's 16, which is a street grub burger.
Yes.
Is that on there? And
Yeah,
that's
that's
Is it a
$15
pound?
for
it's a
the
pound
street
of meat.
grub burger.
It's a pound.
Shut
That's the
It
entree.
reminds me, you remember Jenny's Diner, the Sweet Daddy Fryer?
Oh,
Love that.
Good.
So, yeah.
Sit anywhere you like.
Sit anywhere you like.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, so that's what it reminds me. It's huge. It's a pound of meat. It's a big boy.
Challenge
I love
accepted,
it.
sir.
I believe
Why
you
don't you
can do
guys
it.
have a cook-off? That would be so much fun.
Just how about an eat off?
There you go.
Right.
That
At least
would
I know
work
I'll
too.
win
Right.
that. He might
Yeah.
beat me in
That
the cook
would work too. I love
Yeah, I'll
that.
go to his restaurant, eat all his food, he can come to mine, eat all mine. Yeah, that's a better idea.
Yeah.
So Paul,
Yep.
when you go out and work with all these folks in the restaurant industry, work with all these folks in the restaurant industry, obviously you want to encourage them to employ the use of Balatin.
Sure.
But you also have a lot of education involved in what you do. You like to teach people about serving and about
Yeah,
what the
yeah.
customer really wants.
Yeah.
So what a great job.
Yeah,
honestly.
it is. And my history is Brown Foreman,
That's
which
right.
was a great place to grow up in the business. And I had the good fortune of spending a couple years in New Orleans, early in my career, on the wine side of the business. And so, Brennan's and Commander's Palace and, Two Jacques and all these great. So I spent like 2 full years in the kitchen with those folks. So not that I'm, not that I know that much, but I know enough not to just
To be
come in to be a
dangerous.
whiskey peddler,
That's
and
right.
I have empathy for what's going on,
Makes
understand how it
pretty
works,
darn good alcohol.
understand the stuff that you all sort of battle every day, fight your way through, and all that. So, and also, I feel like you do. I mean, the pie is so damn big. There's plenty of pie to go around, right? So I'm just, I'll get my little piece, have a great time doing it, help anybody along the way I can. We don't really
And
have
make people
competitors.
happy.
And make people
Yeah.
happy.
Make people very happy.
And we work with, we do some work with Tito's. We've done some stuff with Tito's. We do some stuff. So, big brands, we all get together and do the same thing, just like you all do. You're friends and friendly competitors, and
So
there's enough to go around.
And I've got to tell you too, I don't know how you feel about animals, Paul. I'm pretty sure you love them. But I have never known a company that is more supportive of animal causes than Tito's Vodka. I
That's
just have to throw that out
true.
there.
Yeah,
They
throw
do
it out
so
there,
many
yeah.
fundraisers in the animal community.
That first thing I was like, well, that's kind of weird. And then you're like, you know what? That's fantastic. It's really a
know.
great cause. It's not crowded space. They sort of got in there early, and they do a nice job.
You're welcome
really
to
cool.
join the
And I'm a
cause
dog lover.
anytime.
Yeah,
Yes.
I got a beautiful German Shorthair Pony. You know that. It looks exactly
yes.
like your dog.
That's so
They are
funny.
sisters from another mother or whatever they are. I know.
Twinsies.
They
That
look
is so
exactly alike.
Can't
That
believe
is
we
so
said
See your
cute.
that out loud.
Facebook.
So, Gary, you were going to pop in there and say something a minute ago.
I was just going to say, you were talking to him about education.
Edumacation.
Edumacation.
Yeah, right.
Edumacation.
You ran a version.
I know, I didn't even drink. It's so funny.
Well, he really works hard at education. He supports through APRON a Stave and Thief scholarship
yeah.
every year.
Really?
We vote on someone for the scholarship. It's a day at Whiskey U, right?
At Moonshine University, which is
Moonshine
another
University.
great sort of
That's
company.
hysterical.
And
Moonshine University.
Do you know that?
No, tell
Dave
me
Defoe.
about it.
So Moonshine University is part of Flavor Man, which is a little bit under the radar. Y'all know Flavor Man? Y'all know these guys? So Dave Defoe is another Brown Foreman alum. He's a food chemist and all that. He's got a big company down at 8th and Broadway, and they develop flavors and beverages and things for people, for people all over the world, for companies all over the world. And they started sort of an offshoot of that called Moonshine University about 4 years ago. And they, all year round, they do 6-day distiller courses. They do all kinds of little curriculum. And one of the things they do is a 1-day bourbon steward course called Stave and Thief, which is a play on, bourbon staves, and the whiskey thief is what you dip in the barrel to get a little sample of it. So it's a day-long program. So we sponsor a scholarship again. So thinking about not just reaching out to folks who need help, but trying to add value to the folks in the service industry so they can, bolster their resume, become a more valuable, employee. So you got Ryan Lindauer went through the Stave and Thief course, who works with you, and now so tell what's Ryan doing now?
So he's helping me manage, and
he's moved up kind of to one of the bar managers.
Yes, he is.
Great young guy.
He's doing a good job. He's kind of redoing the wine list, which I told him he has full control because he's doing a good job.
Yeah.
While I'm busy doing other stuff, he's really helped me out.
Moonshine University.
Moonshine University.
That sounds like a whole other live cast, Caroline. That sounds like fun.
David, we should get Colin.
I would love to attend
this.
Yes. You would like to attend Moonshine University.
Colin Blake is the director of the curriculum.
Awesome.
He spent some time in LA as a comedy writer. He's just a terrifically entertaining person, but also incredibly smart. They got a great team down there. It would be a good.
That'd be fun. I love it.
Facebook Live, but a great resource in town. And
Paul, how do people go about getting involved in that? Like if somebody that works for Chris.
Well, it comes through the APRON Inc. So if you have somebody that is serious about their craft, interested in bourbon, wants to further their own personal education in the bourbon space, and this is the other thing. One of the reasons Gary was instrumental in us sort of thinking about this and developing this scholarship. Like if you all probably been to Napa, or you understand when you go out to Napa Valley, those servers out there have to be on their wine game.
No kidding.
Because people are interested in it. They're out there. It's wine tourism, like we have bourbon tourism, and they'll purposefully, the wine snobs will try to trip up the servers, and they won't have any of it. Those folks know exactly what they're doing. Our servers here need to be able to be that facile with bourbon and whiskeys and things like that, because we have people coming in that's interested, and they want to know what's the difference between a bourbon and a whiskey, or what's a mash bill, or how can bourbon be made only in Kentucky? The answer is no. It can be made anywhere in the U.S. But the point is, this helps bolster their education and make them an asset to a restaurant.
And gives them a chance for advancement.
Gives them a chance for
advancement.
Which is
an example of what you just said with Ryan.
Not that we had anything to do with Ryan. He's a great young man, and he's got tons of energy and ambition. But so if you're in an independent restaurant, and you have somebody like that on your staff that you'd like to nominate, then you send Gary a note and say, hey, I'd like to nominate this person. That's why.
I love it.
Once a quarter, they'll vote on it, and we'll find somebody to send to the class.
You did help him out, though. I mean, he really developed his interest in bourbon. I mean, he liked bourbon, God knows, but he really developed his knowledge. After that, I watched him grow through the years because of that.
Good.
And I know, and he gives you credit for that.
Oh, good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's great. I
So,
love that.
It's nice to pay it forward.
You used to work with Dean, obviously.
For many years.
What was your background, Gary? How did you get into the restaurant business?
Oh, I think I was born at a hostess desk. My father was in the business. He opened up hotels for Hilton and Sheraton for many years. So I spent a very peripatetic childhood moving every.
Great word, Gary.
I was thinking the same
That's what
thing.
Paul was thinking too.
Wow. Can I just lay down for a second? I got to sort of get over.
Tell Paul what peripatetic means, Gary.
When you get to be my age, sometimes you don't remember the word "the," but you can come up with peripatetic. It's moved a lot.
Use it in a sentence, please. Use it in a sentence for me.
Spell it.
Sounds
Yeah, right.
like
So please.
Sorry, I
Continue on.
didn't mean to go all
5
crazy on
syllables,
you.
peripatetic.
So we moved a lot, and I just helped my dad from the time I was like 7 or 8. Help put the restaurants together, put forks on the tables. So it just sort of came naturally to me. So I had another career in acting when I was an adult. So the only two things I've ever done in my life are restaurants and acting.
And those
So-
often go together, especially
Well-
in the big cities.
Well, they did.
Yes.
I spent 30 years in New York acting and in restaurants.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Luckily, both did very well for me, so
That's
I can't
right.
complain.
You did
but-
well. And then you came back to Louisville to give back to your wonderful city of Louisville, and you've done such a great job with Apron, and we
thank
appreciate
you.
that so much.
Thank
Elizabeth Scott is watching. Daniel Ellis is tuned in. Michelle Jones. Hey, I was just saying Michelle Jones to you. That's Pete's sister,
You
and
know
she
what?
knows you
Well, I was going to
because
say.
you did Pete Fest.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I was going to say, you all, when you talked about
Ooh.
the suicide awareness thing
Yes.
with Anthony Bourdain, but no, you just did a show with
Yeah,
Molly.
Michelle Jones and Molly. Yeah,
yeah.
I
and
love
Molly
them.
and Michelle.
The Pete
Terrific.
Foundation.
Yeah, terrific.
In
Cool.
honor. Are we going to have somebody come in?
Yeah, let me get that.
Pete Foundation.
Chris can have a big bar.
Oh, what you got? You got the Wrigley there?
And just,
Woo, look
Jared,
at
what
that.
is that?
Baby.
Tell people what that
Here,
is.
I'm going to have to give a zoom
That's
on
the
that
Wrigley
one.
dog. So.
Here, let's do this.
The Wrigley dog.
Yeah, it's the Wrigley dog. That is that is a 1 pound foot long hot dog.
All at the same time. Look at that thing. 1 pound hot dog.
Foot long, yeah.
Woo,
Oh
baby.
yeah.
There's a whole bunch of sexy.
And
in
that's
this.
got yeah. That's got
I'll give it back.
give it back.
I'm gonna order one as soon as we get done here. But he can have his back.
Want some weenie.
So the Pete Foundation.
Yeah, Pete
Great
Foundation.
organization. You can tell about it.
yeah, well, just real quick. I mean, we're doing a lot of things here.
It's
but,
okay. We do this on Take It From
yeah,
Tara.
I know, we do.
We cover a lot of different things.
Yeah. Quickly, the Pete Foundation is named after Pete Jones, who devastatingly committed suicide when he was a very young man, 22 or so. And part of the reason that we're involved is Pete was a classmate of my daughter Katie, both at Walden and then later at University of Alabama. And Pete was a very talented and very, very smart and scholarly young man, but fought that depression. Anyway, formed the Pete Foundation. So I mean, you've met Molly and Michelle.
Well,
They're
let me
just
tell you that within
amazing.
days after Pete's
Yes,
death,
yes.
they had decided they wanted to do something to honor his life.
Right.
And they chose to do that with Pete Fest, which is a wonderful music festival that
Yep.
takes place in the early fall, which is
It's
beautiful.
September 7th through the 9th.
On the
this year.
Jones, which is my dad's birthday weekend,
Oh,
so it's
terrific.
perfect for me.
Yeah.
The Jones Family Farm, which is in the Far East End,
Yeah,
and
in
it's
J10
like
area,
down
yeah.
by Bardstown Road and the Gene Snyder, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
And very, very beautiful, bucolic setting. Even if there's a thunderstorm, it's over with, and it's a 2-day event with I think Friday night.
Yeah,
too.
Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, so 3 days.
So
and
it's
they've done
doubled.
a really terrific
It
job
doubled in
on
size
that.
last year, and it
Yeah.
will continue to
Yeah.
grow, and it's a great
And
cause. so-
Raising awareness for
There we go.
mental health issues,
Yes.
especially with young people, and just trying to help people understand that let's have a conversation, right?
Yes.
You're not.
Well, all of us who work in mental health know each other for
Yes,
the most part.
yes.
I work at Bridgehaven Mental Health Services, so
yeah.
Great
and
organization.
just
Yeah.
and we just all have the opportunity to reach out to each other
Yeah.
and to help each other. And in the restaurant industry, although Apron is helping you, a lot of the restaurants help those of us who work for the more vulnerable populations.
Top 10% of suicide, as far as professions
In the
goes,
restaurant
the restaurant
industry,
industry.
Doesn't that just break your
It
heart?
does. Yeah. it does.
Absolutely
Yeah.
breaks your
Yeah.
heart. So we're trying to change that culture,
Yeah.
and we would like to change that attitude too. And one of the ways that we can do that is by having wonderful, innovative repurposing. I mean,
Yeah.
this is truly like the repurposing of the big box, so to speak.
Yeah.
This is a hard place to fill. I mean, this is a big space.
It is a big space.
And you've got to have a huge clientele coming in constantly to make it not look like, oh my God, nobody's eating dinner there.
Right.
Because you always want to go to a restaurant that's full, right?
Yeah,
Because it's got to
yeah.
be good.
So far, it's been
So
good.
you've
We've
been-
only been open 3 days. so.
And I've been seeing a lot of people slowing as they drive down
Yeah,
Shelbyville
yeah,
Road.
yeah.
Not always a good thing, but anyway.
The other, I don't
They
know if
do.
this is a tactic or not, but I mean, all the bars are here.
Yes.
So we sat right at that table. Shelby, right? Shelby was our server.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's right, Shelby. And she said, the food's coming out great. We sort of have, a goal for ourselves, and we try to get the apps out between like 4 and 7 minutes, and we're like, you got to be. I'm telling you, 3 minutes later, the nachos and the pot stickers were on the table,
Yeah.
and
That's
then
pretty
like
incredible.
in like 12 minutes after we ordered, the entrees were, and it wasn't a rush. It's just there's a lot of energy, and so I mean, if you're on your way from Sully's to the Tin Roof, you want to stop in for a for a foot long.
Again, you need that window we're talking about.
Yeah.
You need
30
that
minutes.
walk-through window.
You could do that in 30 minutes. So
Yeah.
I don't want to imply it was rushed. The pacing was beautiful, but you all are screwing around in here, man.
Yeah.
I
we're
just
trying
have to call
Making it
attention to the
happen.
fact that foot-long hot dog What are these, Caroline? Those look pretzel.
Oh,
bites.
that's the pretzel bites with our
How much
homemade
longer is
beer.
this? Because I'm getting real hungry. Looking
Yeah,
at
we're
this.
done here, Tara.
Yeah.
We're done here, Tara. We're done here.
No, but I'm looking at the hot dog now, Caroline. There's very little left of the hot dog. It's heartbreaking.
Chris is not liking that development.
It was there, and
I'll
now
get my
it's
own.
gone. That's pretty. That's pretty amazing. I absolutely love it. Lockjaw on the first bite. That's pretty good. So Michelle Jones says to tell you all, thank you for the wonderful things that you said.
Can I one
Yes.
shout out real quick?
Yes.
Those gentlemen that you just showed,
Yes.
Khalil Kennedy and Lee Mayfield, two
Yes.
of the founders of A Taste for Life. They're instrumental in making that event happen, and it's kind of what you guys do. It's all
Right.
really tied in. We're taking care of our industry.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
the industry that feeds you, and so it's very important.
That is very important. Thank you guys for all you do. We appreciate it. And boy, can they eat.
Yeah,
I'm jealous.
1
Hey,
pound
that's
hot
good.
dog.
Some of that hot
I think we need to make a bigger one. Obviously, this is
Absolutely
They got that down pretty
gone.
quick.
It's like, you know what I should do when I was up? I should have done this. Let me just kind of shoot over the top here so we can show, even though we're shooting into the darkness, you can still get the idea of what it looks like in here.
Local-
And it's
local
quite
artists
beautiful. You've
did
got
this
that really
whole
nice, cool,
street
I
food
love that
scene.
mural.
Yeah, it's cool.
beautiful
It's a
ceiling.
really
I'm
cool-
looking at it
Oh,
too.
a guy named Andy. He's a local guy. Andy, he's just a friend.
Okay.
He's a friend of mine, and just he was on Facebook. And I knew I wanted to get some art. I was actually more thinking graffiti art.
Yeah.
But then we met, and he
That
kind of
is
showed us what he
cool.
could do. I think it's cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I
you
love
kind
it.
of got the whole music scene right over here. All the food trucks, just the whole street scene. So
That is so cool. How
Yeah.
perfect is that?
Yeah,
And
it's
Michelle's asking, where is this? Well, Michelle, let us tell you. It is in the old Mellow Mushroom location because we in Louisville always have to identify everything by what was there and no longer
The
is
old
there.
toy tiger is just past
Old
it.
toy tiger on
3922.
Bardstown Road.
3922.
Exactly.
The old Duchess.
yeah, the old
Oh,
Dutch.
oh,
Wow,
wow.
yeah.
Holy
Or the old
smokes.
donut boy.
That's right. Yeah. Nobody remembers that though.
Pretty
So.
funny. So this is where it is. It's right here on Shelbyville Road.
3922 Shelbyville Road.
Across
actually
the street
working
from
on
the
getting
Tin
an old
Roof
sign. I
Smoothie
just found the
King
old
and,
owner. Getting
whatever
old
that
Sullivan's.
is today.
But don't
Sullivan's.
forget about his other restaurants. They're also really great. Equus Jacks, Diamonds, Diamonds
Cafe
Highlands.
Lulu, yeah.
Lulu, yeah.
Yeah,
some
Cafe
amazing
Lulu.
restaurants
Absolutely.
that he's.
Thank
yeah.
you.
How do you get to all those places, and how do you stay in such good shape?
I'm definitely not in good shape, but I don't know.
I eat all
I have
the
4
food
kids.
There you go. That's the way to
So
do
it's just
it.
constant running. I don't know. I just
And kids.
yeah. I don't know. You know what? I always tell my wife, I was like, I got really bad ADD, so it could either be constructive ADD or destructive ADD. So the more I do, kind of the better. That's why I can do
That's
several
good.
things,
I
but
like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Just do it, I guess.
Machine.
Wing it and see what happens.
Rebecca Eves is watching from the Arrow Fund. We appreciate it. This is cool. Taste for Life at Four Pegs this past weekend. Well received. Excellent.
Nice.
Good to know. Ballatin Whiskey. Yes, so good. There you go.
Who's that? I owe them a.
That would be
Is that
Michelle
Mom?
Jones.
Wait, did I say that? Or you just gonna say
It
the
was
mom?
your mother.
Michelle Jones.
It was your mother.
Thanks, Mom.
Oh my gosh! I'll tell you what. So what I love about what we're doing here and what we always do here is that we can just flow from subject to subject and have great conversations about everything because everybody here represents and over there represents such a cross section of great things that are about Louisville.
city.
So tell me, outside of the restaurant industry, Chris, what is one thing that really matters to you? Besides the obvious, which is your family.
Well, yeah, outside of my wife, who I married 2 days ago. But
yes,
that's fine.
Congratulations.
Let's not talk about that.
Right after the event. Right after
No,
the
this
event.
city matters to me. My food truck was called 502 Cafe. Louisville matters to me. It's such a community. Everything. I grew up here. I love this city. If you want to ask me what matters, it's the city of Louisville.
I like that. Gary.
Because I was an actor for so long, I love the performing arts here in the city. I try to make as much as I possibly can. I'm going to put a big plug into Shakespeare in Central Park. I spent 5 seasons there. Oh God, so many years
Sweating
ago.
in the summer nights.
Sweating in the summer nights in velvet costumes with feather hats. Yes, but I'll tell you.
Don't blame that on Shakespeare.
That's right. But I just saw King Lear the other night with my dear friend John Huffman doing King Lear.
Love John so
Yeah,
much.
You know, I worked with him when we were both in our 20s, and so it's sort of humbling to know that someone I know can play King Lear now. But he was excellent. So I really love the arts community here.
Performing arts and Shakespeare. Paul?
I just love the connectedness. I mean, I think people, I hear people from St. Louis say, oh, you're one relationship away from knowing everybody, blah, blah. But I think Louisville really is like that. Like, Chris, we've met once before, but I promise you, like, within a week or two, we'll cross paths
1 degree of separation.
Right? Exactly, yeah. And people are very receptive to that and, kind about it. And
Drop your mic, man.
Quit fiddling. That's destructive AD.
That's called.
So I love we're all very connected and people very receptive to that, and not even like explicitly the helping hand thing, which is what we're talking about, but
but that's okay.
But just the big circle that we all seem to be in Louisville. I love that.
Yeah. And the best part is when you travel anywhere. You go to New York, you go to LA, likely the first thing you're going to see is somebody from Louisville.
It's true.
More than likely.
And you probably won't have seen them in Louisville for like a year.
Right.
I don't know if you've ever been to Destin, but everyone you run into is from Louisville.
That's Louisville South.
Yes.
They call it Louisville
We
South.
got married in Siesta Key. We're sitting at the bar watching the UK game. The whole bar is full of UK fans.
Oh,
I'm
isn't
like,
that
Well, you were at a broken bar, I'd like to say.
yeah. I felt like I was in Kentucky. I was like, this is crazy, man. It's Siesta Key and the whole bar is blue. So.
What matters to you most, Jared?
Me? Oh, man. I mean, serving people, that's like, I mean, I'm a Christ follower, so like, keep it simple, serve people, love people. I do a lot of work with Love City, with Sean down in Portland. He's a good buddy of mine, so his mission out there is pretty unbelievable. It's he's got a really good story. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that organization.
No, but I would like to have an interview with him.
Yeah.
Will you set that up?
Yes, absolutely.
Tell us about it.
Because I've heard a lot.
So Love City, he's a great dude.
No, you're good, really.
The Sean and his wife Inga, they basically lived in Crescent Hill, and Sean became a Christ follower and sold everything he had for $1 on his front porch, including like a brand new BMW. He sold everything for $1. Wow. He moved down to Portland. He's like, I don't know why. I just feel like Christ is telling me to go down here and make a difference. Bought a house. Right next to the house was an old factory or a rundown building, and they basically, from what I understand, the realtor just said, hey man, I'll give you that if you fix it up. So they're like, we don't know what we're doing here. We know that Christ brought us here. We don't know exactly. We're supposed to make a difference here in Portland. And Sean was like, I don't know why. I mean, I used to buy my drugs out here. I don't know what I'm going to do out here, So,
wow.
So anyways, they started an organization, and it's awesome now. And like, it's about basically helping kids on the streets get off the streets. Because Portland's an area that a lot of those kids don't know any better. They don't go to school. They start selling drugs at a young age, and he just allows them. They teach art there. They have basketball rec centers. They build up the community. They go out and fix up houses. Just go do a random house and then just bring 20 people and just fix it up. So,
excellent.
So yeah, that's a big that's a big part of what I care about.
I love that.
So,
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I know what Caroline Knopp would say if we asked her what matters to her outside of the restaurant business, and that's the J.
I'm on my way to the J after this.
You are. She's on her way to the J to work out because she's
What
in
about
a
balance
complete
it?
workout outfit.
Well, Valentin always.
Valentin always.
And APRON. I mean, you got your passions. Yeah.
The music scene is kick butt. It truly is. We've got great local musicians and a lot of great artists who come through Louisville as well. So I just wanted to to say, and I'm just going to encourage everybody to do this. I always like to say patronize our patrons. So when I have somebody who's on the show and I just love them and I'm so impressed by them and I think that they're awesome, I ask people who are watching to patronize the patrons. I mean, patronize the people who take the time to sit down and have this kind of a conversation, which is always interesting to me because there's so much more to Chris than 4 pegs. Mm-hmm. And there's so much more to you than this restaurant and the other 14. And there's so much more to Gary than just being a Shakespearean actor in a feathered hat, and so much more to ball than ballots and whiskey, And so it's kind of fun to get to know the people behind these things. And the Apron Taste of Independence is coming up. What date?
Sunday, July 14th, 1 to 4 at the Olmsted.
Excellent. Now, does it cost us to get in, and if so, how much?
It does. It's $50 if you buy online. Go to aproninc.org/events, and you can buy your ticket there. If you buy it at the door at the Olmsted, it's $60.
A bargain at twice the price, though. I mean,
still looking for
there'll
restaurants. Great.
There'll be 50 restaurants there. I mean, it's a
We'll be there,
bargain
right?
and a
Yeah.
half, right?
Yeah, we'll all be
Beautiful.
there.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Got to figure out what I'm doing from here.
All
We'll
of
be
your
there, too.
We're doing
multiple
chicken wings. I know
restaurants.
that.
Chicken
That's our
wings?
thing. So
All
we're
right.
doing
Awesome.
We will do chicken wings.
Everybody, do the foot long, and everybody that comes to your
Yes.
table.
Just like have like a foot long bar.
And everybody comes up and just cuts a piece.
Right.
Just chop
Yeah,
out a piece.
I think
and
all I would
that'd
have
be
to do is
fun.
one of those and then
Have
feed
a
everybody.
foot-long hot dog eating contest right there in the middle of the Apron.
Yeah, it's a
Taste of
There's a good idea.
Yeah.
There's a fundraiser.
like you said, $50. I mean, it's completely worth it. You're about ready
Sure
to
is.
you're about ready to eat from all the great restaurants in Louisville.
And great
you will
spirits
be-
are always there. Good,
Wonderful
good.
spirits.
Yep. Good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Might be a Thai tea there.
Might be.
Mountain.
never
Might
know.
be. And I know.
I
Yeah.
think there might have to be.
Bunch
so.
of the local
I
bourbon
love that.
folks are always
Yeah.
there. So yeah.
Well, so for those of you who are interested, go to aproninc.org, and you can also find everything you need to know on Caroline Knopp's page and on Simply PR and at Take It From Tara. And for those who have been waiting with bated breath, and I know you have because I've been getting dinged all during the show, what happened to the dog? Found a dog this morning. Mama Mary at Walgreens called me at Crescent Hill and said, Tara, there's a puppy who just followed a man with a guide dog into the store, and we don't know what to do with her. So, took her to Crescent Hill Animal Hospital, found a chip, didn't know that the chip had not been registered, so we couldn't find the person. But I took her to the place that we thought she belonged, and it turned out to be a very bad situation. So I declined at that point, making an executive decision not to leave the dog there, which meant that I spent the day with the dog, trying to figure out where she was going to go.
Yeah.
And to all of our happiness, Kentucky Humane Society had a stray go home, and little Dakota got to go in.
Good deal.
So she will be on the adoption floor tomorrow, and she's precious.
Good.
And this is what we have to do. So spay, neuter, and ship your dogs for the love of God, please, because the 4th of July is coming up. Don't let your dogs stay outside during the fireworks.
Yeah.
That's the best way to lose them, and tragedy can strike. That's it. Thank you for giving me my moment.
Thank you.
Thank you,
guys
Tara.
so much. We appreciate you for tuning in, and you will be seeing some pop-up Take It From Tara's that will maybe take you by surprise this week, and that's okay. Regularly scheduled programming, of course, always Monday and Wednesday at 4 o'clock, but just wait, because I've got some more great surprises coming up for you this week. Don't forget, the Apron Inc. Taste of Independence, July the 14th.
Yes,
Sunday
ma'am.
afternoon. It's going to be great. Thanks so much.
All right.
Wrap.